Hello everyone, welcome to the How Good Is. Today we're gonna make short work of Nayuta, and I say really short work. So we're gonna take a look at all the stuff that she does. She's a support with a standard disc set with, she's unlimited unit by the way. Her stats are pretty darn good, not quite as good as recently as we've seen with Sai, but they're pretty good stats. Her personal is terrible. If this was just 50% attack down and nothing else, it would be stronger than this, right? Because damage down by itself doesn't really do much. The attack down is not enough to make this good at all. And it's just against one character for one turn. Terrible, useless. One of the worst personal memoirs that I've probably ever seen in my entire life. Her connect is pretty good. It heals a bit. It does a little bit of exile up, which you probably want because you're playing on an exile team. Damage up is quite nice too. Magia, absolutely goddamn useless. Defense down is terrible, and it's the one thing that gets improved upon with the doppel. So on the doppel, you get defense down for 5 turns instead of 3 turns, which is useless. Skill Seal is useless. It's not even 100%. It's not even 100%, even though it's one of the worst abilities in the entire game. Thanks, F4S. Remove buffs, that's actually quite interesting. Remove buffs can be quite interesting sometimes. But that said, it's not so powerful that this effect alone would make the Magia good. So if the other two effects being kind of terrible, this is not gonna save it. So one of the worst Magia and Doppel I've ever seen actually on a support character. So far her Connect is pretty good and her Magia and Doppel are terrible. So is there anything that can save this character? Well, her SE active is Dark Attributed Resistance Star, which basically means any dark character that attacks the enemy while this debuff is on them will deal 10% bonus damage, and this bonus damage is multiplicative to everything else, right? So even if you have a whole bunch of damage ups and the enemy has a defense downs and all kinds of stuff on them, this still is just a multiplied 10% at the end of the entire damage calculation, so it will always be 10%, which sounds pretty alright. But that by itself just doesn't make Nayuta good. What else does she have? Well, when the battle starts, every ally is going to get 15% stats and resistance and 15% light attribute damage cut. For some reason it doesn't say that here, but this I think is also active 5 turns from the battle starts, because it's Light Shield Aura, and if you look at the news, you have the Light Shield Aura right down here, and this is what it says. It says when the battle begins, you get 5 turns of light attribute damage cut for everyone. No, for self? Is that self for everyone? But yeah, it doesn't really matter because this won't ever actually be important at all. It's only 15% against the element that is strong against you and probably the rest of your team, because if you're playing her, you're probably playing a dark team to make as much use as possible of Dark Aberration. So 15% against the enemy that is strong against you is not that much. Sure, it's better than nothing, and if you want a character to do something and not nothing, then yeah, she does something while other characters might do nothing in the same regard of having a special ability that like just buffs you when the battle starts. But that said, 15% stats and resistance, 15% light attribute damage cut is not enough to make her good by itself. The rest of this is kind of boring, anti-bind, you get a little bit of skill wicking because it's support, and that's about that. She's not good. She's not good. She's actually kind of terrible. There might be some uses for her to get the last little bit of damage out. If you're playing a full dark type team against the Kimochi, you get 10% bonus damage from her. But you're spending an entire slot. Look, listen to this. You're spending an entire slot of a 5-man, maybe 4-man team just on a character that gives 10% for 5 of the 6 turns of the Kimochi. Using an entire slot for that. Apart from that, she does fucking nothing. Her connect, while it's decent, is not good enough to make the connect itself her entire playstyle. Her Magia is absolutely goddamn fucking terrible unless you have a boss that specifically only buffs himself with like 200% defense up or something. 100% is the cap, but maybe it still buffs itself with 100% defense up. To counteract some defense downs. Even then, maybe sure the remove buff is going to be important. But apart from enemies that do specifically that, it's so goddamn terrible. I'm sorry that I'm gonna have to make like a really quick video about this, because she's one of the most boring, uninspired characters that I've ever seen gameplay-wise. As a story-wise, I like her. Story-wise, she's pretty cool. She's themed after the, like her design is themed after the Princess Iron Fan, also known as the Ox Princess from Journey to the West, which I've talked about already during the news. So I like that as well. I like her design, like her outfit. Her animations are kind of fucking boring, but character-wise, I think she's pretty cool. But just as a gameplay unit, it's probably one of the worst unlimiteds that we've seen so far. All of that said, if you like her, pull for her anyway. Like I said, this game is balanced in such a way that if you like a character, you can just pull for it, you can just play with that character, they're gonna be fine. The game is not so difficult that you need only strong characters. Every single piece of content in this game you can clear with any character. So, if you like Nayuta, like I said, I like Nayuta as well, pull for her. I just don't have the gems and I don't care about her as a gameplay unit, but just in general, if you like a character, pull for them anyway, because of how this game is balanced. But if you're asking me just purely on, is she a good unit? No, she's fucking terrible. Moving on her personal, I think I've talked about personal already. Moving on to her other memoria that are in her gacha. This is amazing. This is actually one of the best unlimited memoria in the game, probably, when you're playing an Excel team. Is it worth pulling on the gacha just for this memoria if you don't care about Nayuta? No! Don't pull on gachas just for memoria unless you have some very specific cases, but this is not one of them. Don't pull on this gacha specifically for this. This is in the SP gacha anyway. This is in the free unlimited SP gacha. Don't pull for this specifically on this gacha. Just skip it. But if you do draw it, this is really good. Because Excel MP gain up, which is nice, together with MP gain up. So if you're having a character that relies on Excel discs to gain MP, really good. Damage up is nice on top of that, so you're not sacrificing that much damage to get this memoria, which is really good. And next up, you have this right here, is the other memoria in the gacha, which, I mean, is kind of cute. Rabi is being the mom here to Nayuta and Mikage, which is, you know, it's fun. The effect itself is absolutely terrible. This is also one of the worst effects I've probably ever seen on a 3-star memoria. If the evade at least was for 3 turns, maybe that could be sometimes useful, but only 1 turn, 40% evade. Ugh, that's... So yeah, I'm really sorry that I have to do this, but it's fucking terrible. Thank you all for watching. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time when I will talk about whatever the fuck this is.